Found what I was looking for. Let me go ahead and share this clip real quick. All right, let's go, Angry Man. Let's go.
The reason why I have to point this out is because when I sit back and I look at that show and how the rules are on that show, how the women are behaving on that show, how the men are behaving on that show, how they're interacting. I'm going to tell you something right now. That show by itself, not Kendra G, not not last night's conversation, not any of these shows that seem to be gynocentric shows. None of those shows, but the Balloon Pop show has the potential to revert damn near every man that has been consuming this content on the internet for years. That show single-handedly has the ability to blue pill the hell out of men that were previously considered red pill. And the only reason why that show is more effective at it is because there is a conditioning component in that show. The popping of that balloon is more powerful than you can ever imagine. The popping of that balloon is more powerful than you could ever imagine. And I want you to keep this in mind. I want you to understand this. Before anybody tries to say, come on, Angry Man, it's just a dating show. Let me tell you something. We all look at that show as if it's harmless, right? We all look at that show as if it's harmless. But motherfuckers hated the opposite of that show. What was the opposite of that show? The opposite of that show was by Kevin Samuels. The opposite of that show was by Kevin Samuels. In fact, I would argue that a lot of these dating shows that you see, the Pineapple Show, the Kendra G show, the Balloon Pop show, all of them shows is to combat Kevin's influence on the men. Every last one of those shows is for the purposes, because if you notice, all of those shows have the premise of all of those shows is that you have to accept the women the way they are, but the men have to jump through hoops. That's the premise of those shows. That is the premise of those shows. Why do you think they got so angry with Aaron the plumber? The reason why they got so angry with Aaron the plumber is because of the terminology he was using when he was on that show. What did he keep telling those women? Every one of those women that rejected him, what did he say? You're not qualified. You're not qualified. That's the reason why they got mad at him, because the biggest issue that the culture had with Kevin Samuels is when Kevin was assessing these women, he was disqualifying them. He was basically saying, oh, let's see. Oh, you got 2 or 3 different baby daddies? You disqualified. Oh, you're overweight? You're disqualified. Oh, you got a sassy attitude and you don't want to submit to men? You're disqualified. See, Kevin was disqualifying the women. Hell, the overall manosphere was disqualifying the women. So when Aaron the plumber gets on that show and says, you ain't even qualified, baby. You ain't even qualified to be speaking. You ain't even qualified to be dealing with me. That's the reason why they got angry. Because the entire purpose of shows like Kendra G, the entire purpose of shows like the Balloon Pop Show, the entire purpose of these gynocratic shows is to say all women are qualified. It's you men that ain't qualified. That's the reason.
There we go. Boom. That's what I wanted to get to. That's what I wanted to get to. But Pandora's box has already been opened, and ain't nothing that you're gonna be able to do about this. Okay, you're not really going to. Don't get me wrong though. He makes a really great point about this. These kind of shows are to get you back in check and get you back to thinking like properly. What's going on with black men in particular? Black men are escaping the mindset of being weak and bending to the whims and the ideas and the thoughts of the women around them. Again, men who have family and relationships, that's not a normal thing or just a regular thing that a man gets into a relationship and he's just wilding. He's just terrible to be with, all kinds of stuff. A lot of this stuff is fed to you through media, all right, and American culture, all right, for a multitude of reasons, right? But like I always say, a group can't be strong if the men are not strong. And one of the reasons, and this is something why people are not understanding why more black men and black people in general are looking at Trump differently. Now, I don't necessarily feel like Trump's the best president necessarily, but I get it. He also was showing that there is no reward for you trying to be perfect. You get rewarded for what you stand on, what you stand for, because a part of being a strong person is having a strong opinion, and he has strong opinions, okay? And he's not flip-flopping on the opinions, or he's not trying to cater to the entire world. So I know for black people, we'll get caught up on things that we think is, are with the atheist, right? And even that concept makes you weak, because what you're not getting is you're not a part of dominant society, and you need to adjust and find a way to work in that system. Then eventually you can work around the system, but you have to learn this system first. There's let me share something real quick. Hold on. You see it? You see it? Detroit man files lawsuit against luxury hotel, claiming they ignored resume until he switched to a white name. I changed my name from Dwight Jackson to Jacob Jabrowski and got an interview. Let me just draw right here. Here we go. Dwight Jackson, a 27-year-old Detroit resident, claims he applied for multiple positions at a downtown hotel in the first few months of 2024, but was never contacted for an interview. He then decided to apply for 2 similar positions using the alias that sounded more Caucasian, according to a lawsuit filed on Wednesday, July 3rd. On 2 occasions, Jackson allegedly applied for positions at a Shinola Hotel using his exact same resume, but he changed the name to John Jabrowski. The lawsuit claims Jackson, or rather his alias, was contacted for an interview within the same week of submitting applications under the Jabrowski name. Jackson did end up going through the interview process and told he wasn't a viable candidate for the position, the lawsuit says. Jackson and his attorneys claim he was not considered for the positions because of his race. They also claim Jackson was punished for complaints to the company about alleged discriminatory practices. So it's real quick, guys. For the men watch. Oh shit, my bad. I thought y'all could see that shit. I'm so sorry. I know I just read it. I'll read it again. Oh, that is so sloppy of me. So pause. Detroit man files for lawsuit against luxury hotel, claiming that they ignored his resume until he switched to a white name. I changed my name from Dwight Jackson to Jacob Jabrowski and got an interview. So, like, as you guys just heard, what he did was he sued them for being for discrimination. Well, I think it's very interesting about that. And again, don't get me wrong, he's free to do whatever he wants. If he feels as though he was, if it's worth it, I get it. Listen, I guess whatever, right? But this is what we're missing. How can black folks come to power, right? If we don't realize why you weren't being pulled for that position anyway. Also, a job can hire whoever they want to hire. To a certain degree, I'm not gonna lie, I can't say it reeks of entitlement, but it's like, sir, I'm not gonna say it's so much that it's a reason for that, but when we get into racism, it stops your mind from thinking about, okay, how can I ascend above these limitations? Because our forefathers came out of slavery, and within 20 years, there were black millionaires in this country, or wealthy black people in this country who were the previous generation were slaves, right? And that pretty much